So continuing on, we have output number 2, and then the information for output number 2, and 3, and 4. And I believe the Slimflex maxes out at 4 relays. Could be wrong on that, but in this case, there are only 4 relays. And then the I here is inputs. And so here we have sensor 1 is the ID, S1. The name is conductivity, and the current value is 1321 microsiemens. So that's the value of the conductivity sensor at this time. Excuse me. Let's go to sensor number 2. Oh, there is no sensor number 2. Interesting. I'm not sure why, but doesn't really matter in this context. Here's sensor number 3. It's a meter, and it's reading with 0 gallons. That makes sense. There's nothing connected to it. And sensor 4 is a flow switch, and it's been on for 58 minutes, and so forth. The temperature at sensor number 5 is the temperature, and it's 75 degrees. So again, the XSpeak link can be triggered by, once again, well, let me back up. I'm sorry. The XSpeak, when the XSpeak link is triggered, XML data is spit back to the client from the Slimflex to the client. We're the client. And so this data, this XML data, contains the current values of all of the IOs at the time that the XSpeak command was triggered. So that's certainly pertinent information for those people who want historical data. So theoretically, the developer can create a program that calls the XSpeak command, and more specifically what that means is, look at how I'm hovering over the XSpeak. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the web page. It's controller.aquacheck.com:1007/xspeak.xml. That's the web page for that command, or for that data. And so if I just manually type it in here, xspeak.xml, now notice how it's just all of that data. I explicitly went to the page that shows the XML data. So back to what I was getting at. The developer, if he would like to create a program that can generate historical data from a Slimflex. Now keep in mind that Slimflex does not store historical data, does not save data at all in terms of historical data, like the Aegis and Multiflex. But a programmer can simulate storing historical data by calling this xspeak.xml page, let's say every 5 minutes, or once an hour, once a day, once a week. It doesn't matter. Well, I guess it does matter. If it what am I trying to say, Paul? If they want to have historical data from a Slimflex, and they're only concerned about having data, let's say every hour, then their program would have to pull the Slimflex every hour. Because keep in mind that every time you call this web page, xspeak.xml, it's only for that. It's only the data at that moment in time. And to show that, notice how, look at the time here. It's 14:51 at 24 seconds. I'm going to refresh this page, and notice the seconds will change. It's 14:52 at 58 seconds now. I'll do it again. And now it's 53:04. And now 5 seconds later it's 53:09. So the point I'm trying to make is that this is a shot of the live data at this particular time, and only that time. So if you wanted to create a history of this data, then you have to pull it every so often at the customer's defined time. I think I pretty much pounded that one down in the ground. I hope I'm not boring you too much. Let's see, what else can we discover here? Let's see here. If I was a developer and I wanted to know, um, let's create a scenario. I'm Jay, and I want the Slimflex to be, I want to be able to collect, um, let's see, I don't know, alarm information from a Slimflex. Let's say I want to know when something's alarmed. Hmm, that's interesting. I haven't thought this through. See, we can see visually that this conductivity sensor is in an alarmed state. So when I click on this conductivity sensor, the right side of the screen shows me that it's in fact high alarm. And that's about it that it shows us. Now, what if I wanted to collect that information as opposed to just having a screenshot of this page? I wanted something to be polling this controller, and then the poller will detect when an alarm occurs, and then that application, proprietary application, will then do something, spit out an email or something like that. The first thing is we need to have the program detect that this thing is in an alarm state. So what we could do theoretically is have a program that continually polls, P-O-L-L, this web page, the right side web page, which is, let's see, I'll hover my mouse over it, and it is s1.htm. Remember, look down in the bottom left corner. So my program will poll, can't say that right, s1.htm, let's say every hour. Okay, so the program is continually connecting to s1.htm web page, and the program will not see this, obviously, it's a computer program. It will see this. All of this is HTML data, by the way. So the program that is polling s1.htm is programmed to look at this, look for the value called high alarm. If it says low, I'm not sure what the text is that Ed wrote when it's in a low alarm state. This would be something we'd have to ask him. But we would search for this text. The program would search for this text. If it finds it, then it could flag it and say, hey, I found an alarm on S3 or sensor number, I'm sorry, S1. I think I've been saying S3. We went to S1. Hey, I found a high alarm on sensor number 1. And then it can spit that information out and do something. The Slimflex does not do this inherently. It's not a feature inherent to the Slimflex. The Slimflex is very simple in terms of, hey, you want to know something's going on with the Slimflex, just go to the web page. So to programmatically notify somebody, a program would have to be written that goes to, manually connects to s1.htm, and then looks for the high alarm or whatever the text is in this area. Actually, more specifically, this frame resource in this area, and then do something with that data. So that's one scenario. I'm trying to figure out another scenario that they would be interested in doing. Alarms is a good one. Live data, we just talked about that using the XSpeak. If they wanted to get, let's say they wanted to get the set points for a relay. I don't know why they would want to poll for that information, but just as an example, they would again go to this, let's say the relay number 2. If they wanted to, this is a wrong example. Let's see. Oh, these are buy-side times. Well, this really isn't a good example in terms of high set point and low set point, but let's just continue on. I warned you I didn't plan for this, and I sound stupid, but hey. Okay, so let's just say that they wanted to collect the set points for a relay, and in this case they want to collect relay number 2, the inhibitor set point. So again, they would have to first of all find out what web page the relay number 2 exists on, and I'm hovering my mouse over that link, and you can see that in the bottom left hand corner it's r2.htm. So their program would go to r2.htm, and their program would see data that looks like this. Okay, and so what their program would have to do now is scrape this page and look for this area here, input name sh2. I assume it's set point number 2, or set point for relay number 2. I don't know what the H would stand for. Oh, that's high. Yeah. The set point high for relay 2 is set to 100. Set point low for relay number 2 it doesn't apply because this is a percentage time. And this is where we have to get into how the controller actually works. We'd have to read into more information on what we're actually getting. But the point is, if we knew that if we knew how the Slimflex works, and we understand all of the different types of applications that the relay is capable of doing, then we can infer, okay, it's a percent type of control, and all we have to do is look at the sh2 input value, and it's set currently at 100. I'm botching my way through this, but hopefully you're seeing that there is a way to programmatically collect information out of the Slimflex that the Slimflex doesn't inherently give you in an easy way to a programmer anyway. So I'm showing you this stuff so that you can at least have it in your head, and when you talk to Jay, that he will, when he's talking his talk, and let's say you get to a point where he says, and the Slimflex doesn't do this. This video hopefully gives you something to go with, that you may be able to respond to Jay and say, it may not do it explicitly, but we can develop something and to do what you need to do. So that's the goal of this video. Hopefully it helped. I'm going to give myself a little 10 more seconds to hopefully see something else that may be helpful. Let's see. Let's go home. Well, I guess this might be helpful. This is another scenario. They might want to collect the serial number for their controllers, like he mentioned that they want to buy in surplus of 300 or something like that. So collecting the serial number for different controllers and seeing what their status is might be a useful useful thing. And I'm thinking, you know what, the best way to do that would be to actually go to the configure and then go to the XSpeak, because the XSpeak shows the serial number, the part number and the serial number and all of that information. So I was going to show you a different way of doing it. In other words, you could get it off here. In fact, just as an example to kind of just burn it in your head, again, we could just go to this page, which happens to be on, this is, I think it was called sys.htm. Yeah. So this is the sys.htm web page, and it shows this information that you see, but the program would actually see this data, and the program would have to parse through it, and it can collect the stuff that's on that screen. Whatever's here is shown in here, and the programmer would have to go through it and parse it out. I think you get the idea. All right, yeah, I think I've bored you long enough. Hopefully it was helpful. If you have any questions on what I brought up, you can call me anytime you wish. And if I didn't touch on anything that you're even interested in, please let me know, and I can do something else that you were hoping for. I'm not even sure if I'm touching on what you were expecting. If I didn't touch on anything that you were expecting, please let me know. I'll be happy to touch on what you were expecting. All right, take care, Paul. Bye.